For Dr. George and Peggy Rapp, a life filled with blessings would be incomplete unless they shared it with others. As embodiments of generosity, the Rapps have proven that the gift of tangible and intangible resources can accomplish much, both in Indiana and around the world. George was raised in the historic town of New Harmony, Indiana, where his life consisted of church, school, Boy Scouts, 4-H, and sports. Growing up, he took note of how his family depended on their local doctor and decided to pursue a career in medicine, selecting Indiana University for his studies. Born in Hammond, Indiana, Peggy McNary enjoyed traveling, skating, and other activities with her tight-knit family. When it came time for her to choose a college, she selected IU as well. Her initial arrival on campus led to what was almost a life-changing introduction.
I was at IU and I was a freshman. He was a junior. And my suite mate was from New Harmony, and she said, "Oh, there's George Rapp." That was our first introduction.
However, not very much came from that. And I came home and all mothers asked, "Are you dating anybody?" I said no. My mother said, "Well, there was a girl down here that visited Sally Martin, and she seemed a nice girl. Maybe you should call her." So I say, I was taken up by a diabolical plot by Peggy and my mother. So no, I'm joking now.
The couple married in February of 1956. While their courtship had been a busy time, early married life was filled with lots of work, changes, and pressures.
We had a very small apartment at the medical center, and all of a sudden they announced we could only stay there a year. I was teaching at School 61, which is out in Eagledale, and our parents said, "We'll help you purchase a little prefab house, and then you'd be able to walk to school so your husband could have the car." So that's how we started our married life together, with me teaching to support him because he was still in school.
After completing his residency, George served as a major in the U.S. Army Medical Corps at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. In 1964, the Rapps moved back to Indiana with their two young sons, where George opened a private practice through St. Vincent. He also began volunteering at City Hospital and Riley Children's Hospital, serving as the Indianapolis Indians team doctor, and instructing at the IU School of Medicine.
My parents had all been teachers, and I thought I owed a lot to teachers. I admired them greatly, and I wanted to teach, be like them.
George reveled in the chance to help every patient, both as chief of orthopedic surgery at St. Vincent Medical Center and as director of the scoliosis clinic at Riley. Wanting to help the medical community as well, he co-founded the Mid-America Orthopedic Association. As those in his field began to specialize, George found himself drawn toward the development of new joint and spinal instrumentation.
I worked at the scoliosis clinic at Riley for about 18 years as a volunteer, and from that learned who was in spinal surgery all around the United States. These people became very close friends of mine. So later, when we started a company, we thought we'd do everything, but it turned out that we specialized in spine.
That company was Sophomore Danek, and its future looked promising. But disaster struck early on, when a fire ripped through the facility and destroyed all of its inventory. As they received the news, the Rapps turned to their faith for guidance.
At that time, we didn't know whether we could save it or not, but my prayer was, "Lord, if this company can do any good for humankind in any way, shape, or form, please help us get through this tough time. It's not our company anyway, it's your company." And look what he's done with it.
The company didn't just survive, it thrived. Sophomore Danek became the world's largest manufacturer of spinal instrumentation. As business took off, the Rapps increasingly shared their blessings with others, both inside and outside U.S. borders.
I was interested in teaching orthopedics in other countries, and I went to Kenya and found that they had one operating room. I thought I cannot get volunteers to come to Kenya and not be able to get in the operating room. We talked to the doctors there from our church, and we contributed enough money to build 4 operating rooms, and it's been a great blessing, I think, to the people. It has become a great center for not only this, but for the treatment of AIDS. It's probably the best in the world.
While the IU Kenya Project's mission is primarily medical, Peggy worked to address additional needs, like making the student accommodations more welcoming.
I'm not a nurse, and so I couldn't help out in that line of work. So I felt like I was able to do a little bit of something while I was over there.
The little things have also added up for places that are privileged to count the Rapps as residents. This is particularly true in New Harmony, where they're involved in almost every aspect of the town.
They are involved. It's not that they're just giving funding, it's that they appreciate being part of the development here in New Harmony. You don't have to ask, they will ask what they can do.
Both New Harmony residents and visitors enjoy the fruits of the Rapps' labors, from New Harmony Garden Club beautification projects to the creation of the Hoosier Salon Gallery and paint-out events, which have encouraged additional community involvement.
The people take a real pride in being able to help the Hoosier Salon by volunteering and by attending our events. They did it originally out of appreciation and love for George and Peg. And then they came to realize what an important part of the community the Hoosier Salon has become.
Even though there is no known family connection to the town's original founder, the Rapps live in a Rappite home and share their enthusiasm about the history of New Harmony with everyone they meet.
I always say that George is the best tour guide we have, because anytime he brings someone to town, he talks about the history. To carry on those stories and to share those stories with all of their friends from all over the world is a tremendous thing that he's given New Harmony.
The Rapps' generous nature is also ever present in Indianapolis, where they are active with organizations such as the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, Heartland Truly Moving Pictures, the Indianapolis Museum of Art, the Indiana Historical Society, and Second Presbyterian Church. They also started a paint-out in their summer hometown of Wawasee.
We've been blessed, and therefore we owe it back to others to share what we've been privileged enough to have. So that's very important to us.
I want to encourage you all to come back next year. We're going to have the same weather.
The Rapps have never ceased sharing their time and resources. Their philosophy, to paraphrase John Wesley, is to help as many people as they can, as much as they can, for as long as they can.
Define philanthropy, saying it's volunteerism for the public good, and I think anyone can do that. You got to take some of your free time and do it, but I think you feel better afterwards.
The joy the Rapps find in giving is not lost on others who recognize the breadth and depth of impact George and Peggy have had on the world at large, for both present and future generations.
They have done so many things that people don't even know about, and they have shown their love and their commitment to making the world a better place for not just their own children, their own offspring, but for everyone's offspring, for everyone in this world. If we all had that love and commitment and outreach to the world, it would be a much happier, healthier, lovable place to be a part of.